There are a few mistakes that I see most people making when trying to take a quality photograph using their phone. If you're frustrated with trying to take a decent photo on this thing, this is the video for you. Hey, my name is Jen and I help people with all aspects of photography and videography. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 8 ways that I see people misusing their phone for photography and how you can avoid these mistakes. We'll go over some settings, we'll go over lighting, and a few other things that you may not have considered. The first thing is, dare I say, the most important, and the one that I see most people doing wrong. Wipe your dang lens, okay? These lenses on the back of your camera or on the front if you're doing a selfie, these guys get constant smudges from your fingers, they get thrown in a purse, they get schmutz all over them. You need to clean that thing off in order to get a quality, clear photo. Have you ever taken a photo with your phone and there's kind of a gloomy haze around the whole thing? That's because your lens was dirty. So do yourself a favor, take the corner of your shirt or another soft surface and wipe it off. The second thing I see most people doing when they're trying to take a quality photo is they're pinching in to zoom rather than using the camera's default lenses. If when you open your camera app on the bottom, it states 1x, 2x, and 3x, these are not just for zooming. Well, they do zoom, they do change the perspective of what you see. The numbers correlate to the lenses on the back. Why does this matter? Any amount between those numbers, like let's say 1.56x, is actually digital zoom. When you're switching between the lenses, that's called optical zoom. Optical zoom knocks digital zoom out of the park. When you're using the digital zoom or the numbers in between, it can be lower in quality. And for most purposes, if you're using this online, it's not going to be that big of a deal. The problem is when you may want to use the image to print. As you may or may not know, pictures are made up of pixels. The more pixels that your photo contains, the better quality the photo is and the bigger you're going to be able to print it. Let's say you pinch into 2.8x. What you're really doing is using that 2x lens, so that's having to zoom in, and it's getting rid of a few of those pixels, making the quality of your image less, versus if you were to hit the 3x, it's going to switch which lens it uses on the back of your camera. The quality of the photo and the number of pixels available in that photo for if you want to print it is going to be better. The third thing I don't see people doing when using their phone photos is using the focus and exposure features. To use these features, you're going to tap the screen where your main subject is, and this will pinpoint its focus. Right next to the focus box, a little tiny sun will appear. You can drag your finger up and down over the little sun, and this will adjust the exposure or the brightness of the image. Up will be brighter, down will be darker. The fourth thing I see a lot of people doing is just centering everything. Photography 101 tells us that the rule of thirds is a guideline for interesting photos. Think of dividing your frame into 9 equal boxes. When you align your subject along the intersecting lines, it is very pleasing to the eye. Lucky for you, there's no need to eyeball it. For iPhone and Android users, go to your phone's settings, select Photos and Camera, and turn on the grid function. Now when it's time to take a photograph, don't automatically center your subject. Move them off to one side or the other, and don't forget about horizon lines. Putting your horizon line on the top or the bottom line of third creates a much more dynamic photo than directly in the center. Another thing I see a lot of people doing wrong when trying to take a quality phone photo is they're using their portrait mode all wrong. Portrait mode keeps the focus on the subject while blurring the background. This is great for people when the background is of no specific importance, or if you really want to blur that background because it's maybe not pretty. But let's say you're on vacation and your child is standing in front of a historic statue. If you're using portrait mode in this scenario, your child will be in focus and you're just going to blur the important statue or Eiffel Tower right out of the picture. So in this scenario, you're going to want to just use the regular camera, not portrait mode. This also goes for any time you're shooting a landscape or architecture or an interesting scene and you really want everything in the scene to be in focus and for everybody to see every little detail and element. Do not use portrait mode for this. I've got 3 more great tips to share, but before I do, head down and like this video and then comment if your phone is your main camera on vacations. The 6th thing I see a lot of people forgetting is the timer. For iPhone, hit the little caret at the top. Down on the bottom, some options will show up. Scroll until you find the timer icon. You can change the amount of time that the camera will wait before taking the photo. This will help keep images sharp by avoiding camera shake, and it will allow you to be in the photo. The seventh thing that I see a lot of people doing that's not really necessary is always using their flash. I'd like to encourage you to just say no to flash. Instead, pay attention to the natural light that's happening in the scene and where it's coming from. Natural light will give your images better contrast and color. And let's not even start on red eye. Not to mention, when your camera's flash goes off, it has a limited amount of space that it can cover. This goes for anything like landscapes and anything where your subject is very far away. The light from your flash isn't going to reach them to help anyway, so just shut it off. If you try to shut your flash off and you're getting blurry photos, that means that more light is needed. If possible, instead of using the flash, turn on some lights, move closer to the window, crack open all of the curtains, and get your subject in natural light rather than you relying on your flash. All right, let's talk about the eighth and last thing I see a lot of people doing that they could improve on with phone photography. They don't use different perspectives. Most people, doesn't even matter what the subject is, will stand straight up, put the phone out, and take the photo. Maybe try a different angle, get above something. Get completely above something and shoot down on it. Come in from a side. Move the camera angle around so that you don't always have the same exact angle for things. This works well for vacation photos or for when you're trying to tell a story and you need to get details. Get different perspectives. Don't just always hold with your camera at waist level and press the shutter button. Another thing I see a lot of people doing is including the full body all the time in group shots. You can hold your phone vertical like this to take group shots, but guess what? You can also turn it this way in order to get a quality group shot, maybe from the waist up, instead of having to get the whole entire body. That way you're seeing the most important part of the person, which is their face, a little bit more clear, a little bit closer. And that to me is just a more quality photo. So there you have it. Those are the 8 mistakes that I see most people doing when trying to take phone photos. Your next challenge is to clean up that phone photos app and organize them. Be sure to check out my video on just that, and then head down and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future updates. And be sure to like this video while you're at it. Until next time.